Welcome to Living in Grand Rapids, the podcast. I am Josh May and so excited to be here today with Susan Pasteur from the Power of Education Foundation and the winner of the 2019 CHOP GR event, Oscar Moreno from MeXo. And we are super excited to have you today.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Let's talk about you a little bit. You know, we've been away from the event for 2 years and there was so much excitement surrounding your win 2 years ago, but let's tell everybody a little bit more about you and your background and your restaurant. Let's just lay it all on the line.
So where we start with MeXo, we start there. So it was obviously a rough year for everybody. We survived, thank God, and we're here. Happy to know that it's going to be another event. And a little bit about me, I'm from Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, and cooking for me has always been part of my family and the importance of my culture. And I guess is where I display a lot of parts in my culture and the importance of the pre-Hispanic cooking and techniques and ingredients that were almost forgotten. So I guess that's my mission that I have right now, is to bring back pre-Hispanic techniques. And when I say pre-Hispanics, it was before the Spaniards, and that's basically what the name of the restaurant means. The ME is Mesoamerica. The XO is the modern Mexico after we gained independence from the Spaniards. So it's basically cutting the history of Mexico in half. It's like Spaniards, and after the Spaniards, when we started adopting ingredients, it didn't exist in our food. So one thing that is very important about knowing about pre-Hispanic Mexican cuisine is all our food was gluten-free and dairy-free. We didn't have cows, and a lot of our bases are, like from corn, cactus, and insects, and a lot of seafood. And that's what we try to show in our menus, and in the restaurant. So we have like ingredients that almost nobody uses, like guasontle. So guasontle is a hairy amaranth. It looks almost like wild broccoli. It tastes very similar to that. So we use those ingredients. We not only use them in savory dishes, we play with them even with desserts. We did with la coche, and we dehydrate it, making powder, mix it with chocolate, make desserts, things like that. It's just to change the perspective of, the ingredients that we use in the refined foods and everything. So we just have another option of the Mexican cuisine in the city.
I just want to share with the audience, if you haven't eaten at MeXo, you absolutely have to. Obviously, his food's amazing. He won the Chopped Challenge, but what I learned and have learned about Oscar is that you cook in really interesting ways. He will tell us about some of those. I can't even explain them. He's like doing this sealing and and if you go there, it's like an art form, the way that he shares his food. So tell us just like one of those interesting ways that you cook that other people don't.
One of them is at MeXo you will find very pre-Hispanic or very old techniques and very modern techniques. So we mix the two. So we try to make use of the best, in life, I guess. Yeah, we use from the metate, the molcajete, which is the lava rock surfaces that we grind chiles to create a mole. We do the molcajete to create the texture and the salsas. But we also use, sous vides and, recirculators and all that stuff to, time in our food and, it's like provide the best quality we can in Mexican cuisine.
It's like a lab. You'll see things. It looks like there's this modern lab, but then there's this prehistoric from early.
If you want unique, authentic, and just incredibly tasteful food that's got a lot of love into it, definitely check out the restaurant. It's really amazing. So kudos to you.
Thank you.
And I'm excited that, of course, the reigning champion is back. And I definitely, Susan, let's talk a little bit more about the actual event, Power of Education, and then we're going to get into some details because I want to ask Oscar some questions about
what it's like,
how it feels.
So
let's set the stage. Let's talk about the event.
So the event is October 7 at 20 Monroe, and it is for the Power of Education Foundation, which is our K-9 school in Port-au-Prince, Haiti. We are very happy to be able to have an event again and be back. We're grateful to our chefs. And the event is Chopped. As it sounds, it's a take off of the television show, 4 of Grand Rapids' top chefs competing on stage live. And no, they do not know what is in that secret ingredient basket. They're surprised, and they do an appetizer round, a main round, and a dessert round. And the panel of judges decides, who is the ultimate winner. They're all our winners because they're all participating. They're all helping our cause in Haiti. Yeah, it's a great time, great event.
Oh, it's amazing. And for all the listeners and viewers, I got to tell you, so one of my favorite events of the year, probably my favorite event in Grand Rapids. And I got to have you visualize this, because when you walk into the venue, you literally feel like you're walking into the real production, like a Hollywood production. The chefs are on the stage, all the food's there, the judges are there, the sponsors are there, the energy's there. So I just want everybody, can we just feel it for a second?
Well, so we have a DJ, the music. Yeah, we've got great music going. We've got an ice bar,
Nice.
I had mentioned. We've got, the big, when they're cooking on stage, we've got great pictures of Oscar with the steam coming out. And they're working hard up there. There's no doubt.
Oh, it's so much fun. It's so much fun. So let's get into like the details. Like, let's get into Oscar's mindset a little bit. When he walks up on stage and you're competing against 3 other people, and you've got all these people watching. Tell me, what's the hardest part of that, or what's the most challenging part of that situation?
So I guess when I walk in there, I told our staff that any ingredient that you guys gave me, I will turn it into Mexican cuisine. So it was a double challenge for me. So I know how to cook other cuisines and stuff like that, but my challenge was to display what we're doing at the restaurant. If you give me foie gras, I have to figure it out how to make it Mexican, or put a mole on it or anything like that. It was a double challenge, but the motivation behind everything is, the mission of the event, to help the kids in Haiti. And that was the motivation when I get in stage, I felt that I already win when I just walk in there. Not a title, but just knowing that you're helping other kids, then that was my motivation.
Is there anything that you learned from 2 years ago that you're gonna maybe think about a little bit harder this year? I mean, let's talk about this year's competition and what your thoughts are on that, or just any changes.
I guess it's the same mentality.
Yeah.
You just go there and do the basic and know what to do. And that you have a lot of people watching and stuff like that. But I go with the mentality that it's just me in there,
I love it. And let me retract that statement, because we're talking to the defending champion. So I guess we don't need to make any changes. Anything else on your end, Susan?
Just real quick, because Oscar has a huge heart, and the people at MeXo have been so supportive, I just have to say thank you so much for that. You did a lot during COVID. So you were a downtown restaurant in a downtown that was shut down, and you figured out a way. Tell our listeners just kind of briefly about when everything got shut down, what you did, and you had all this food in your freezer.
So yeah, we were about to start big events, and when they shut us down, our freezer and our coolers were packed with food, and because we were ready for big events. I was sitting at home thinking, how can I help, with what I know what to do? It's like, okay. So the first thing we said in MeXo, we're going to do a survival package for the employees, and we did. And then we still have a lot of food. Then we start thinking, calling organizations around. We start preparing meals for families, and we get in contact with, some of the organizations in town, AMA, and other organizations that they help us provide drivers to, we have a list of the name of the families and how many members in the family, and we prepare the meals, we pack it for them, they come in and pick them up from a table, and then distribute that during the pandemic until we ran out of food. Then some distributors came and, they donated product, and, they keep us, doing the meals and stuff like that. And so that was
amazing. And that was your first thought. How do I repurpose this to bring it to our community?
Correct.
And I cannot imagine how blessed those families were that not only got a meal when everything was shut down, but they got from Oscar.
That is amazing. So we've got to get this story and this interview in front of everybody. It's amazing
Yes.
just to hear. I didn't realize, the story behind the name. I mean, I'm learning things here, and obviously, do you have another question?
I just really want to interject because Oscar does these amazing dinners, and they have a different era for
Yeah.
each dinner.
Correct.
And so you can sign up for those online, and he will give you the history lesson of that prehistoric era and the food that's going with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we do a pre-Hispanic dinners at the restaurant, and we post it on our website. Every month we do a different culture, like the Aztecs, the Mayans, the Toltecs, and then we give you a little intro of history, and then we inspire ourselves in 5 or 6 courses with pairings and everything. So
Well, I'm excited, and thank you so much for being here.
yeah, it's welcome.
It's awesome
Pleasure to be here.
to hear your story and to get excited about the event coming up. Susan, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Josh.
And to all the viewers and listeners, after you get done making your reservations for MeXo at some point over the next 30 days, and after you sign up for Chop GR, we'll let you get back to living in Grand Rapids. Have a great day. We'll see you at Chopped, and stop by the restaurant.
Thanks for listening to Living in Grand Rapids, the podcast. Please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast and share with your friends. You can find us on Instagram at MayGroupGR or online at marketgrandrapids.com.